Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS. I'm here with Trell, and in today's video we're going to be doing something that's actually kind of been a popular request lately. We recently went to Nationals, as you guys know, and so some people there and just in comments and like social media posts have been asking us to kind of make a sort of guide, introduction to the different levels of Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, you know, from locals all the way up to like, you know, World or Nationals or something. So in this video, we're going to explain them to the best of our ability, at least,
right,
and maybe give you guys some like tips and things to, you know, you do to prepare for them and what to expect. So, locals.
Locals is mostly comprised of your friends, your peers, people that you're going to pretty much see continually.
Tends to be like the card shop in your city or town.
Right.
You know, usually they're
very casual, very laid back.
They'll usually have like a weekly tournament or two.
Right. It's where you can go and you can bring your fun decks, your scrub decks, your test decks. You know, it's just a place. It's pretty much your arcade. You just go out there and have fun.
The people you love to hate tend to be there. I think that locals, in terms of like, you know, what to expect when you go to maybe your first local,
right?
I would say, if you're going there for the first time, just get to know the people themselves.
Right.
Because whereas at like bigger events that we'll get into in a bit, at the bigger events it's kind of less about knowing the people, it's more about focusing on matches and yourself. But I think at locals it's more important to get to know these people, because these are the people that you're going to be trading with every week. You're going to be, you know,
this is the core group that you're going to see at all times.
Get to know the shop owner really well, you know.
That's actually
the judges.
I like to get to know the shop owners myself, because you never know, like, you might need something, you know, just whatever. Like, I agree with that.
Yeah, and you know, also, like you said, it tends to be a more casual environment. People aren't usually like, you know, looking out for, it's not going to be like a super high meta unless you go to some locals, you know. And things like that.
You don't have to play against these locals.
Yeah, they're the chill zone, you know, right. Good for testing, good for hanging out. And if you're at a Konami sanctioned store, then, you know, you should be getting pretty normal prize support, whatever that is now, promos, usually like OTS like things. Sneak peeks tend to be held at locals.
Fairy Tale Snow is hollow now. I just want to put that out there. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. Oh, Terraform is like ultimate. Right? I really want to get one.
They don't limit that. Okay.
But yeah, so that's pretty much what locals is.
Yeah.
The next step up then is regionals.
Yes.
Regional, or I guess as they're properly called, regional qualifiers.
Right.
So these are, as the name kind of implies, it's the sort of region in an area. You know, it might be like the northern half of an entire state, or like kind of some of the surrounding states. So like where we are, for example, most regionals in this area are in Texas.
Texas, yeah.
But they'll bring in people from Louisiana, a little bit of Arkansas, a little bit of Oklahoma, you know.
All the closer to southern states, like for us, the region in that area. So yeah.
Now the thing that kind of defines regionals is they're much larger tournaments. They might be like 100, 200, 400 or 500 people.
Yeah, depending on your location, depending on your city, yeah.
And the goal there is to get what's called an invite. So when we get to Nationals, which we'll talk about in a second, you have to be invited to play in the main event at Nationals.
Right.
So how do you get your invitation? At a regional. So you go to a regional, and if you do well, you'll get an invite. And the amount of invites that they give is based on the amount of people who played in the regional.
Attend the regional, yes.
So like if, you know, maybe 150 people play in this regional, they might only give out
top
16 invites. So the people who make top 16 get an invite. But if it's maybe like a 200, 250 person regional, it might be 24 invites.
24, 32, yeah.
And it might be like 32, and it might go up to like 48. So the larger the regional, the more invites they give out. But of course, that also means that
the more stress,
the more competitive, the more rounds.
Right. The longer the day is going to be.
And then regionals are also where they tend to have some side events. You know, side events being things like what?
Like winter mats, pretty much like mostly winter mats, like 2v2 things like that.
Structure deck tournaments.
Yeah, which are actually pretty fun. Yeah, structure deck tournaments. And my thing is, even if you're like, if you go to like these type of qualifying events, even if you don't play like in regionals, if you want to go to something, I feel like you should always experience it.
Yeah. And
at least play side events. Like the experience alone is enough for you to be prepared, like just for future events.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely it's a different environment than locals. What would you say differentiates it?
Besides the large crowd, there's also the fact that a lot of people there you won't know. So
right.
You can be personal, you can try to be personal, but I mean, if you're there playing for the main event, then you don't have a lot of time to be personal. Sometimes you get in, you're trying to get your matches in.
I think it's more of a.
Well, I
was
gonna say that's also where you need to know the meta. Because there's a huge difference in regional and locals, where when you go to regionals, people are here trying to get their invite, just like
they're
everybody
playing to
signed up, right? So you need to know what is out there,
meta.
exactly.
No rulings. There will be a lot more judges.
Yeah, there'll be real judges.
Real judges, like actually walking around, you know.
Yeah, and the days will be long. If with all these events, actually, any besides locals, any event that requires an invite or that has a possibility of an invite, the days are going to be long, and you have to be able to withstand that.
Definitely get some sleep.
Eat.
And like we said, it's not as
shower. Sorry, wash your ass. My bad.
Yes. Yes. And also, it's like we said, it's not as personable. People are kind of more looking out for themselves.
Yeah.
Watch your things more so than you would at locals. You can trust your friends at locals maybe to not take your stuff, but at regionals, that's not always the case.
You don't know them, they don't know you.
And it only gets worse as we go up the ladder. So,
True.
Yeah, I think that those are, at a regional, it's less so than locals. It's still pretty chill. You'll still see a lot of the same people. If you go to a lot of regionals, the same spot,
right,
you'll see a lot of the same people each time, but yeah. So next up, I guess YCS.
YCS, yeah, YCS.
What do we need to know about YCS?
A YCS is just a larger regionals. I have to say, it's a
Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series, by the way, is what that stands for.
Yeah, YCS Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series. But yeah, it's pretty much just a larger regionals, and I can't really say a smaller nationals, but it's a larger regionals.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's
in between.
YCS is pretty much a combination of regionals and a nationals. Now, pretty much more people travel to this. There are way more side events. There are way more things. There are way more vendors. There are.
That's a big thing. Yeah, is there tend to be vendors at YCS.
Yeah,
some regionals will have them too.
Yeah, most of the regionals have like maybe one vendor, and that's for that area. Yeah, you know what I mean. But like YCS have multiple. Yeah, National YCS have multiple vendors. Way more people. Like I like going to YCS. They always have weird, cool little things. I played some game on interactive game on TV one time. We went to YCS Dallas, I think it was. So.
Yeah, the big thing about YCS is that they're 3-day events.
That was my next
thing.
Yeah.
There's the Saturday is the main event, but the Friday right before is usually what's kind of called day 0 or the pre-registration day.
Yeah.
So you can go to that same event on Friday to register early, get your deck list in, save yourself the trouble of waiting in line on a Saturday morning, and then Saturday is the main event day. But after Saturday, if you do well enough, you make it to day two, where it's a much smaller cut of the entire competition, and then you kind of have to play in more of a the last couple of rounds of Swiss, and then like an elimination style thing. So it's considered a big deal to make day 2 at a YCS, and then it's an even bigger deal to top a YCS.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even top 32 or top 64 is pretty good at YCS. Like regionals. Top 64, you're like, you don't care. It's because the attendance is low. But when you go to YCS, there's typically
more people from
thousands of people.
More areas.
Yeah.
And these are also the events that a lot of people look for in terms of determining where the meta is headed.
Exactly.
So at a YCS, if all the top spots were Zodiacs, for example, then that's a good indication of how the meta is going right now.
Exactly.
And people are looking for those results. There's usually a live stream.
That's what I like about it. That's another thing I like about YCS and that's they have live streaming, so you can actually go there. So you're not at the event, or if you can't be a part of the main event, you can actually watch. You can
watch the Zodiac mirror matches.
Feature matches are amazing.
Of,
I love it.
Watch the Zodiac mirrors from your home.
Don't watch any Zodiac mirrors. I didn't watch any of the Zodiac mirrors from nationals. Another cool thing about Fridays for YCSs and of course Nats is if you pre-reg, a lot of times they give you cool.
There's
stuff.
usually a benefit.
If you pre-reg, you get this cool. One time we had these really cool tokens.
Yeah, there's usually some sort of a token, a mat.
This year
they've been doing the dice.
Yeah, the little
really
attribute dice, which is really cool. So just if you pre-reg, of course.
And all the same things from regionals apply twofold, as in be prepared in advance. Get enough sleep, eat decent stuff that morning. Be clean, and of course watch your stuff even more so because you're in a giant convention center most of the time. And I mean, if you lose your stuff, it's impossible to.
You're not gonna remember all these faces. So once it's gone, it's gone, and that's just honest truth. It sucks to say, but we just want you to be prepared. So.
Yeah. And next thing then is nationals.
Nats.
So Nats. Nationals, like we said, you have to get an invitation at regionals to play in nationals normally, although there's some exceptions. It works the same way as a YCS in that it's a 3-day event, but this thing is huge. Mm-hmm. Pretty much anyone who's anyone is gonna be there.
Right. It's like the red carpet of Yu-Gi-Oh! It really is.
It is. It's the culmination of kind of just the whole meta from the past year, all in one place. But it's not just competitive, actually.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other cool stuff to do. Plenty of vendors if you're just interested in buying or collecting cards.
Or selling.
There was a giant, what did they have this year? Like that giant card?
Yeah, the giant card game, whatever.
It was like a big mat, and everybody got to kind of just like...
It was like pretty much a 5v5, and the cards are pretty much the size of a person, and you pretty much each have your own card, and you're playing against, 5v5, you're playing against each other. And typically they do that a lot when they're like bringing out new mechanics.
Yeah.
So they do that.
This time it was links.
Yeah, so this time it was links. And so pretty much they do that like when they bring out new mechanics, and it just gives you a chance, a feel of the new mechanics, and it also gives you a chance, like I said, to play a 5v5 with people you don't know mostly, but which is really cool.
Yeah, and then something else that's also really kind of distinctive is, you know, they have side events like YCS's, but there's just so many of them.
So many different ones.
So awesome. Many. There's Win-A-Mat, Pegasus Challenge.
Pegasus Challenge is pretty fun.
Attack of the Giant card, 3v3 team dueling. They had demos for Duel Links. They just had, you know, they have the character theme duels, where usually what they'll do is they'll get the voice actors from the anime. So like, you know, like Yugi Kaiba, you know, like Dan Green and Eric Stewart, like, and they do scripted like character duels.
Yeah, you get to watch that on live stream.
That's a lot of fun.
Another thing that they do at NASA, which is really cool, is two separate things. One is called is the LCQs, Last Chance Qualifier. So that means if you did not get your invite during the season, at a regionals or a YCS, these are pretty much like 4-round flights to get an invite, a last-minute invite to actually be a part of the main event at nationals. Anybody can go to nationals, but you just can't compete in the main event without an invite. But they have LCQs, last chance qualifiers, so where if you get first place, you're now eligible to play in nationals. And also another side event that they have is WCQs for the following year. So
you can technically get your invite.
Yeah, you can get your invite at Nats for the next Nats. Yeah, so if you want to do that, so
I played in a few of those. It was fun.
I didn't play in any this time. I should have. I just got busy. I don't know. But.
Yeah, it was crazy. But that's basically what Nationals is. It's kind of just the Yu-Gi-Oh! Of the Year event.
Yes.
I always say that even though it tends to be a far travel for a lot of people, as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, I think you owe it to yourself.
It's worth it.
To go to honestly each of these events.
Just to
I think that
them.
you should always go to at least a regional.
Yeah.
If you can, try to go to a YCS, and then if possible a nationals. Get a group of friends. It's a lot more fun that way.
It really is.
Split the cost.
Please don't go to nationals by yourself. It's boring.
Oh, for sure, don't do that.
It's boring as hell. I don't care if you stay next door. It's boring.
You know, split the cost and make it an experience. Like, you know, if you've never been to, it was in Chicago this year. The location changes each year.
Every year.
If you've never been to the place, it's a great place to or a great sort of opportunity to learn about a city that you haven't been.
Do it!
And I guess, real quick, the last one's Worlds, which is...
a lot of Asians.
Yeah. Worlds is basically, if you go to nationals and top, what is it, 6 for North America?
Top 6 for North America.
Different continents get
and also now they do the point thing too. So top 6, and like you also if you have like enough points, qualifying points, you can get. To Worlds.
And so Worlds is kind of an invite only thing. It's not as big, I'd say. It's not. I mean, it's open to the public.
Yeah, it's open to the public. It's pretty much just the elite of the elite. It's pretty much the winners against the winners. Just being honest. That's what it is.
They tend to use an adjusted ban list that kind of takes the OCG's meta and the TCG's like ban list, and it kind of makes into one. They still have the character duels things. It is still open to the public. It is still streamed, and it actually is in different like countries each year. So like I think this year it's.
I can't remember where it is.
London.
I want to say
it was.
I can't remember.
Sometimes it's in Japan, sometimes it's in Europe, sometimes it's in the States. But yeah, that's basically what Worlds is. Not really has to say about Worlds.
Yeah, it's Worlds. I mean, like, it's people who prove themselves.
Best.
Yeah, and so now they're going out there for the bragging rights and to be the world champion for that year.
So those are the different sort of tiers, I guess, of Yu-Gi-Oh! Events, and different types of things you can go to. I will reiterate, as a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, you owe it to yourself to try to, go to one of these events.
One of each at least.
They really are a lot of fun. You really can learn a lot and meet a lot of cool people. It's not all just, hyper competitive assholes. Like there are some good friends you can meet. And you can meet some cool people. You might meet us at one of them, so who knows? And I guess that reminds me that if you want to meet us at one of these events, the next major event that we should, be at is YCS Dallas. October 21st and 22nd. We're expecting to go, so I'll let you guys know more details closer to the time.
Right.
You can meet us. We went to Nationals last week, and it was a lot of fun meeting all of you there. So, yeah, if you didn't catch us that time, then really
this might be your chance to catch us again. Yeah.
I think that's gonna be it. So, thumbs if you like the video, subs if you love the video, and in the comments, what's been your most enjoyable experience at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event?
Yes.
That would be a very good thing to say. That's gonna be it. Later, guys.
Peace.